Hey, Stephanie here, and today's topic is brought to you from this really cool application. This is a 1920s black and white theme, so I thought I would go ahead and use it. And I want to talk about a really sensitive subject. And I know that if you have a spouse that is supportive of you and your business, being a mom, entrepreneur, but isn't really, building a business right alongside of you, sometimes it can get a little in between the relationship. And I want to share a personal story with you. My husband has always been supportive of me. He's been my biggest fan. But, there was times where I would get upset with him for not building the business with me. And I would always hear these comments that, oh, if he would build a business with you, things would be going that much faster. You guys would be twice as successful if he would just build it with you. And now my husband works full time and I stay at home with the kids. And, building a business, I was always the one to build it. I was always the one that was doing appointments, that was doing everything for the business. And if we would travel, he would come along with. And he was always supportive of me. And he had given me a couple referrals along the way, but I was the main person building the business. So over time, I started getting really upset with him. And it would get in between us. It would start little arguments. Why aren't you building the business? You don't want it bad enough. You don't want to come home from your job bad enough. And, that is the wrong attitude to go into it, because now I'm frustrated with him, even though he's supportive. I'm frustrated with him. I'm frustrated with the business now because I'm thinking it could be twice as big if he was to help me. And that is the wrong attitude. First of all, be grateful for what you have. Second of all, don't ever let the business get in between you and your spouse. It is the wrong, you don't want it, you don't want that tension in between the relationship just over a business. Because the relationship is so much more important than the business is. And so I share that personal story with you only because how did we overcome that? Just not being upset with him going to work every single day. It was a big deal. And for years, I would always think he doesn't want to come home bad enough. He doesn't want to be a stay-at-home dad. He doesn't want to be a full-time dad bad enough because he's going to work. And reality is that it is okay if he goes to work. And I'm not mad at the fact that he leaves for work every single day. And that do people, can you replace an income? Sure you can. If you're in business, you can work your tail off and you can replace an income. And towards the end of it, I was making a full-time income within the industry as well. So, it was great. But at the same time, enjoy the process along the way. If you want to bring your spouse home from a job that they hate, now this is the different story. If my husband hated his job, maybe he would be a little bit, he would join me in business and he would have actually, went out there and was promoting. But he loves his job and there is nothing wrong with that. If you hate your job and you want to replace your income, that's a different story. So I'm sharing this story from a place of I wanted to bring my husband home, but he really loves his job and he's really good at it. And I can't knock him for that. I can't be frustrated with him going to work every single day because he's, providing for our family and he loves what he does. And so I can't have that feeling. And so letting go of that was really freeing for me with my last company. And I share this with you because I spent really 4 to almost 5 years feeling this way. And if you're out there, a mom in business and, you want to bring your husband home from a job and, really live that lifestyle where you don't really have to answer to anybody, but you're still in business. You're still having to work your business. It's not where you go and you work for a year or two and then you're just done. It's something that you need to maintain, something that you need to keep up with. So, like I said, I wanted to share this with you because I know many couples out there are feeling the same thing and are going through the same thing. And it is okay to go to work. And one thing that's really blessed me is my last company, my mentor, who was one of the top guys, amazing, amazing man. And he worked a full-time job. And he also had his business that made, I think, more than his full-time job. And I really admired that about him because he worked that job for years before, whole different story for another day, but he worked that job while building a business, and there was nothing wrong with that. And people were always telling him, why don't you leave already? You're making enough money. And he didn't. And I really respected that about him. And I think we all can learn a lesson from that. I mean, if my husband really truly enjoys his job, then why am I pressuring him to come home and leave what he loves? And there will be a time and place for him to leave what he's doing. But now is the time where he's, moving up in the company and he really enjoys it. And so I share that with you because, like I said, I know that there's a lot of couples out there that are feeling the same pressures, and release that, because you don't want your business, you want to enjoy the process, and you don't want your business to get in between your relationship, and you don't want it to be something to be argued about, because you want your significant other to support you along the way and not be a detriment to your relationship. So there is my tip. If you haven't gone over to my website, click on the link below. I'm writing a blog post about this as well. So click on the link, head on over to my website, and come follow me on Twitter at StephPerson77. See you on the next